Hello there, I'd like to show some new features of Flow. If you don't know what Flow is, it's a sequencer script for Mozaic by Bramboz. And Flow is really a step sequencer or a live recorder depending on how you want to use it. So if I just press play in AUM, you'll see how I can just play some notes and it starts looping it. I can erase my pattern by just holding the clear arm button. I have up to 7 patterns that I can choose from. I can also play patterns in parallel, but never mind that for now. So with that very brief introduction of Flow, I'll just show you how this is set up for now. I have Flow routed into FM Player 2 and Ruse Maker. Very basic. Ruse Maker is set to listen to MIDI channel 2 and FM Player set to MIDI channel 1. So right now I have this pattern set to MIDI channel 1, so that's why the DX player with the harp will be playing. Right, so the first thing I want to show you is strumming, which is a new feature of Flow. If I enter a chord, I can play it of course, but I can also just enter it by holding the pad. I want to enter the chord 4, and then we just enter some notes, and it'll start playing. So let's enter another one here, like that. And then maybe, what about a G something? Okay. When I've entered this, you can see there's 8 numbers on each pad. Actually, behind each pad, there is 8 steps that I can sequence. So I have a resolution of, well, 8 times the step size. Cool. If I go into one of these steps, I can press shift and I will see exactly the voices recorded. So the first 6 knobs are the voices recorded, and you will see the velocity setting after the colon of the note. Below that there is a few new things, and as I said, the first thing I want to show you is strum. I can set strum per part or per step, but I could also set strumming on the pattern level. So I'll now just flip the strum switch, and my harp is starting to sound like a harp. Of course, what strum does is it plays the voices with a certain delay, 125 milliseconds in this case. If I record the chord backwards, I enter the highest note first. I will be doing basically an up strum on a guitar. So I can simulate playing a stringed instrument quite nicely actually. Okay, clearing that, let's go on to the next one. There is a new velocity setting. The velocity setting is actually a scaling factor for the velocity recorded. So if I just record some notes, like that, if I then change the velocity, I'll basically multiply the recorded velocity with what the knob says. I can set this, as in this case, per pattern, or I can go into an individual step and set velocity. Let's max that out for that one. And you can hear how that gives this twang from the high velocity. So that's very convenient. If you enable CC recording, which I'll get to soon, Flow will actually record your velocity knob movements. So I can do things like this. Basically automating the velocity changes. Right, so that's velocity. So the next thing I want to show you is ratcheting. So I'll switch to multi-mode so I can do multi-tracking. I'm gonna add some hi-hats, and I like to use velocity keyboard. I've created a preset for it that can that works with RuseMaker. So for my first pattern, I will direct the MIDI to channel 2 where I have Rootsmaker setting, waiting for MIDI. Right, that works. So, and also I'll set the quantization to step, so I record on whole steps, and then we just tap some hi-hat. Right, there we go. And now just pick any step like this one, press shift, and then we can add ratcheting to it. Now the gate is very short on this one since I just tapped it on velocity keyboard, so I'll extend the gate to a full step, that's 100%. I can of course set gate to other values that will be slightly more humanized because it's going to end up offbeat. So right, I have a hi-hat with ratcheting. Now I'll switch to the next pattern, also going to Rootsmaker, and add some kick drum. I'm just going to do some basic trap style. Right. So for the final part of this little presentation of the news in Flow, I'm going to show you MIDI record or CC recording or automation recording. There is a button called CC recording next to live. Actually, Flow will pass through any MIDI that comes through, so I've actually mapped velocity keyboard to the tune or the kick drum. Maybe it's, yeah. Cool. So if I want to automate that, I'll just say CC record that one. I'll do this on a separate pattern, so it will be a pattern that doesn't have any notes. It could have, but I'll just do this in an empty pattern so I can toggle it later, and then start recording. You can see how it displays the values recorded, and you'll see how Rootsmaker starts automating itself. Let's also move the hi-hat. Look at the panning there. Easy. And this is on its own step, so I can just toggle off the automation or on. Well, I think this is pretty cool, so give it a go, see what you think, report any bugs, and have fun.